Hello, greetings, welcome, good afternoon, hello, how are you doing? Welcome, salutation, back. I am Shunrin, aka the friggin' Iron Man, and we are back for another build spotlight. Today we are going to get to what I promised, the most anticipated, hopefully, you were on the edge of your seats waiting to see the frame Quarry. Aw, yeah. And this build is extremely intensive and involves a lot of work. So hopefully we'll get through the whole thing in one video. If not, I might have to split this into a two-parter, which, might be kind of epic because all of my videos have been really long so far, I know. But hey, that's what Build Spotlight's all about. Making giant long videos that cover entire builds. And I know that everybody just loves it, don't ya? You just love it. Especially those friends of mine that I twist their arms so that they watch this. They already know that I've done this because they've seen me do it on server plays, and they're watching this because I made them. And they're just like, oh, God, get on with it. So, without further ado, I guess let's get on with it. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to not do anything in Minecraft first. Before you even open your client, you want to pull up your configuration screen for Red Power because the frame quarry is built on frames, which is a Red Power block. It's all about Red Power in this frame. I'm back in my 1.4.7 world because of that, because as of this recording, Red Power has not updated to 1.5.2. And so what you do before you do anything, for my build, I mean there's other frame quarries you could do out there, but for my build, it's so huge and so massive, also the frame quarry is pretty big, that you want to go and edit your configuration files. So you want to locate your Minecraft window. For me, that's going to be in my games multi-MC folder because that's the program that I use for managing my instances. But really, you could go to whatever folder it is that you have this installed at. You're going to want to locate your Minecraft folder. I don't know, there's different packs, different launchers that you can use. But basically, you want to locate your configuration folder within your Minecraft files. So you go into your configuration folder, and you want to scroll down until you find Red Power. I guess I could be completely... Did I just... Ah, it has a folder now. It used to just be a little file on its own. You open this up, and you are going to pull up something like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down in the file until you find... So I'm glancing through here. There it is. This part here says logic.enable sounds equals 1, and then beneath it says machine, and then frame, and it says always create 0. Link size 2500. This by default is set to 1000. 1000 is not enough for the frame core I'm about to show you guys how to build. You want to bump this number up. I put 2500 to be on the safe side, though you could probably get away with 2K. Whatever you feel like doing, this is what I put. So you need to bump this up before you even open your Minecraft instance in order for this build to work. Because it's just so giant. Not going to drop the D joke again. Not going to drop the D joke again. So anyways, apparently we left off on a crash. I just remembered that. So let's go over here a little ways. Actually, let's check over here first. Yeah. Okay. This is our applied energistics system that we set up for our previous build spotlights. And what we're going to want to do is I'm just going to spawn in some ME chests really quick here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to spawn an enemy drive. Drives are easier. Drive. There it is. The ME drive is going to be made with 4 iron, 2 glass, a chest, and 2 basic processors, which are a basic processor assembly smelted in any smelting machine, which is the quartz cutting knife, the gold, the silicon, the 2 redstone. The silicon is made by smelting quartz dust. And the cutting knife, of course, is the tool for cutting stuff up in Red Power. Or I'm sorry, not Red Power, Applied Energistics. And it looks like that. I'm only doing this because we already had the Applied Energistics set up already for the previous spotlights. And this is just where I'm going to dump everything in that comes into the frame. So let's put this right here. And that crafting will look a little bit different in 1.5.2, and I can cover that later on. And then we're going to get some storage chips. We're going to get the big storage chip because that's going to be the easiest. This drive can hold 10 chips. Wow, it's already got stuff on it. What's it already have on it? Is that just where... Ow. Saplings and stuff are coming in from the tree farm. That's alright. Should be okay. That's already got 4 types in there. Let's grab another one just for the sake of... Just for the sake of argument. These storage chips are really complicated. Not complicated, just quartz heavy. You need 108 quartz to build one of these storage chips because it's the maximum size. It takes 3 redstone, 3 iron, 2 glass, and a storage cluster, which is going to cost you an advanced processor, which is a diamond version of the basic one that you saw a moment ago. And then 4 glowstone, a glass, and 3 of these storage blocks, which takes 3 of these storage segments, which is the same recipe. And then you need 3 of these storage cells, which is the same recipe except for the basic processor and redstone instead of glowstone. And these storage cells are the basic processor and 4 quartz and 4 redstone. So it's 4 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 basically is what happens to get one of those giant chips. But they hold so much data, you really kind of just want to do that. So for our purposes, that's what we're going to do. And then also what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to get an ender chest. And we're going to grab our import bus. And what I tend to like to do is just you pick anywhere, it doesn't matter where. Let's put it on top of the thing, why not? It does not matter. Do it like this. And then you surround this thing with the import buses, because what the import buses do is they constantly pull out of the chest. You want to make sure to always pull out of the chest as fast as possible, because this frame quarry, I'm not kidding, it mines so incredibly fast that if you're not pulling stuff out constantly, you're going to get overloaded really quick. So just make sure that everything's connected up here. And to be completely honest with you guys, I haven't actually tested this yet with the frame quarry. In terms of using one ender chest with all these export buses, I haven't actually tested this yet. So we're going to see if this works or if it overlogs or what. It'll be a giant experiment for the new build spotlight. Ha ha ha. I like it. Although I guess I should be confident and pretend like I know what I'm doing. This is going to work, guys. Honestly. I've done this 1,000 times. It's awesome and it rocks. Anyway, so these are pulling out of this chest now, is what they're going to be doing, and they're going to be storing all the data. All the income is going to be stored in these drives right here. So that's going to be good. Although that's a really simple, quick setup. What you're going to want to do probably is to find a way to filter out something like cobblestone and dirt, because that's going to take up so much room in your drives. You might even want to take a preform. Actually, you know what? Let's do that really quick. Let's grab 2 more storage chips just for the sake of argument here. And let's come over here to our preformatter. I showed you guys a preformatter in a previous episode, but what you do is you tell this thing, hey, I only want, let's say, cobblestone on this chip right here. And then you can say cobblestone. And you click format, and now this will only take cobblestone. You can see right here it says cobblestone. And then we could drop this guy in here, and we can tell him dirt. Dirt. There we go. That one takes only dirt. And so the really nice thing about doing that is if you put these in your drive, the system is smart enough it will know to put cobblestone and dirt in just those chips. And until it's full anyway. But that's 65,536 bytes. It'll take forever to fill up. Or you could do a system where you filter out the cobblestone as it comes in. I've done that before as well. Not really that difficult to do. So now what we're going to come over here and do is we're going to start building the frame quarry. We're going to dive right into this. If I could, type frame instead of frome, that's might be good. So you're going to want a tube frame, you're going to want support frame, and you're going to want to take block breakers, which block breakers are the heart of this entire setup. The block breaker is going to be a piston, a pickaxe, iron pickaxe, a redstone, and 6 cobblestone apiece. The piston, of course, is 4 cobblestone, 3 planks of any kind, an iron, and a redstone. And then the pickaxe is 2 sticks with 3 iron. And then you're going to need a screwdriver, which is just a stick and an iron, shown as such. And now there's a lot of videos out there that I've seen of people that have done frame quarries, and they're all really good. But I personally, and everybody's going to say this, everybody thinks they are the absolute boss when it comes to these things, but I really do think that my setup is really, really impressive. 6, 7, 8, whoops, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, let's start there. So what I do is a lot of people, they make arms that swing back and forth and pick up things like a vacuum cleaner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's just not how I like to do things. I don't see why you should swing an arm back and forth when you could just drill straight to the ground and call it good. So I do mine in a piston style, which I think is just probably about the most efficient way you can go with these things. And so why do a complicated swing arm with all the extra motion that it involves when you could just drill straight to the ground? You could just go straight down to bedrock and be like, bam, done. This setup, what I like to do is I do a 15 by 15, as you just saw me counting that out. And the 15 by 15 segment is going to be the piston head. You can think of it as the piston head. And it just goes straight down to the ground. And it's one quarry, if you do a max size quarry, is a 64 by 64. So it takes 4 of these piston head drills to go down. But if you have a quarry on maximum power, just a regular quarry machine, it will take, I've seen it take upwards of like 6 to 8 hours sometimes, even on maximum power settings. It takes a long, long time to actually get the quarry to go all the way through. This happens in a matter of seconds. I'm not even kidding. I'm not making this up. You'll see this happen here in a few moments. A little bit of a future teaser for you. This happens in seconds. You can do in probably 5 or 6 minutes what a quarry takes hours to do. We named this on my server when I built this. We named this the Destroyer of Worlds after a famous dragon in a famous game somewhere, which I'm not going to mention because I hate it. But yes, the sucking capacity of this is immense. Also, this machine is pretty awesome. So, let's see how many times I can drop that joke. So what you want to do is after you place all the pistons, you're going to take your screwdriver and you're going to run through here and you're going to rotate these all so they're facing downwards. Of course, the giant hole is the intake and the tiny hole is the output. And that is totally human nature, obviously. Also, for these block breakers, the giant hole is the input and the tiny hole is the output. Oh my god. Wow, I like it. So you want the inputs facing down because that's where they're gonna break their blocks. Block breakers. I don't know if they're gonna be nerfed in Red Power or not. I know there's several. Red Power's next release for 1.5.2. I know that there's several mods out there that nerf block breakers because they're only made out of iron picks, but they can mine any block. So I know that there's several mods out there that nerf them so they can only mine the equivalent of what iron can mine for you. So if that gets nerfed, then this whole setup's not going to work for you. So you're going to want to know your mods decently, or at least know what mods are installed on your server in order to get this all set up properly. Because if you're playing on a server and your friends have those mods installed and this gets nerfed, then you are just not going to be very happy when you go to build this and suddenly you get stuck. But I'm not playing with a server setting like that, with the mods set up like that, so, you know, happy days. And this really takes a long time, because you seriously have to rotate every single one of these. So while we're waiting on that, anybody know any good jokes? Read any good books lately? I know a good joke. I will tell a nice long joke. Let's see if I can drag a joke out long enough to cover all these breakers. Okay, so there's a older guy. He's a much older gentleman. He's probably in his, mid to late 60s. And he decides that he wants to feel young again. So he goes out and he decides he's going to buy a new sports car. He wants to feel the thrill of having a sports car again for the first time in years. And he buys one of the brand new BMWs, ZX 9472, something crazy. I don't know what the BMW numbers are, but, pretend I do. Pretend that made sense. And he buys a really brand new sports car, nice BMW, and he takes it out on its first spin, and he is cruising down the freeway. And he's got the top down, he's got the wind going across his bald scalp, because he doesn't have hair to whip in the wind anymore, because he's sour about that. But he's got the top down, the wind's blowing, he's feeling good. Then he decides, you know what, let's see what we can do. So he looks down at the car, he looks down at the dashboard, he sees that the speedometer has a ridiculously crazy high amount listed on it for how fast it can go, and he decides to floor it. And so he's flying down the freeway, and he's doing, he's hitting all the high mile markers. He's getting up there. He hits 40, he hits 50, he hits 60. He's having a grand time. He hits 70. Then he shoots past the cop, and all of a sudden he sees the flashing lights in the rearview mirror. He's like, oh, man. And he goes, you know what? No, I'm feeling good for the first time in decades. I really want this to go awesome. I think I can outrun him. So he just puts it down, and he's flying down the freeway. He hits 80, he hits 90, he hits 100, he hits 110, and then he's like, you know what? No, I'm too old for this. I really shouldn't be doing this. I'm just gonna pull over and take the heat for this, and we'll see what happens. I'll be responsible. So he slows down and he pulls over to the side of the freeway. And as he's sitting there at the side of the freeway, the cop gets out. And the cop looks into the car, and he sees that it's just this older guy, this really nice older guy. Looks like he's like, could be the man's grandfather a couple times over. He's like, oh, man. The cop's like, ah. And he's like, you know what? He tells the guy, he's like, sir, it's like 4:30. It's my Friday. I'm about to go home to my wife. I really don't want to have to take the time to write you up and to haul your old self into jail, when it's just not going to work out anyway, because they'll probably just release you because you're old as dirt and they don't, want to have to bother processing you. But he's like, so I'll tell you what, if you can give me a legitimate reason why you were doing that fast down the freeway, I'll let you go. And the old guy's like, really? And the cop's like, yeah, but it has to be a legitimate sounding reason, and I'll let you go. And so the old man thinks about it for a second, and he tells all of a sudden he looks up, he's like, you know what, sir? I do have a reason. And the cop goes, okay, let's hear it. And he says, many, many years ago, I was married to this woman, and she was a horrible, horrible woman. She nagged me constantly. She spent all my money, maxed out my cards, all the typical stereotypes. She was awful. She was cheating on me with like 20 guys. And the cop's sitting here thinking, well, even if this is made up, this is still pretty good. All the typical stereotypes. And the cop says, okay, but what does that have to do with why you were speeding? And the old man looks the cop dead in the eyes and he says, well, when I saw those flashing lights in your mirror, one of the things she used to do was like to play cop, and you know what I mean? The cop's like, I know what you mean. And he says, well, I had a horrible flashback, and when I saw those lights in my mirror for a brief moment, I thought, he's like, I took years, it took divorce settlements, I lost everything to her, but I finally got away from her, been scot-free for a few years, I was just so happy to get away, and when I looked up in the mirror and I saw those flashing lights, it brought everything back, and I thought for a brief moment that you were trying to bring her back. Cop says, have a nice day. So bad and so horrible. I hope it wasn't too painful to listen to all that. I was trying to drag it out so I could finish this piston head, because I hate pausing videos, as everybody knows. So, that actually, I took a lot of liberties with that joke. It's actually a lot shorter. They don't have as much of a conversation, as much of a dialogue as I put in there. But I was trying to concentrate and trying to fill up space for the video recording, and I think I did a pretty decent job. You got to spend the last probably 10 minutes or so watching me place pistons and rotate them. I got a little bit sneaky with it. I found out that if it's facing upwards from the top, it's just a quick click. So make sure to keep that in mind when you do this and don't have to spend eons. So now what we're doing is we've placed all the pistons down, We've placed all the block breakers down. They're facing against the ground. Now what we're doing is we're putting these tube frames on the backs of every one of the pistons. And these tube frames, anybody that knows anything about frames, or maybe you don't know anything about frames and you're watching this for the first time, these frames are what actually moves the whole thing. Any frame that's attached to another frame, or any block, like these block breakers, that are attached to a frame, When you put a frame motor on the frame, then the motor will move those frames and those blocks all together. So what we're doing is we're placing a frame against every one of these pistons, but also these are tube frames. Oh, man. I just realized a gigantic blunder I just made. Ha 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 ha. We don't want tube frames, guys. That's not what we want to do. We want redstone tube frames. Probably actually edit this out. Nah, I'm not going to edit this out. I don't like to edit. You guys all get to witness an awesome blunder, but luckily it's a pretty easily fixed one. You want redstone tube frames, not regular tube frames. And the reason why is because these block breakers, when they break a block... Oh, man. When they break a block... I'm just failing and derping hard right now. They spit them out the back. And if there's nothing there to catch them, then they just spit them on the ground. And these frames... One of the 1.4.7 updates was these frames were able to have tubes, the redstone tubes, the pneumatic tubing, which is awesome tubing. It's wind tubing. It's probably one of my favorite tubings to date. But it spits them directly into the tubes, and the tubes will put them towards the quickest inventory that they can find. And so what you do is the redstone tube, you want redstone tube frames, not regular tube frames, because you can also put a redstone pulse through them at the same time. And the redstone pulse is what actually tells the block breaker to trigger and break everything that's below it, right? So you want to make sure to use the redstone tube frames, not the regular tube frames. Don't derp as hard as I just derped. You will be sour. I'm sour right now. I just wasted some of your time. It's probably going to cost me some viewers. I might get some negative comments. Oh well, such is life. Redstone tube frames going down now. This is what we want to see. And then the ender chest that you place on top of your storage system, you want to make sure to put that right in the center. At least that's how I do it. So let's go. This is a 15 by 15, so we're going to want to count in 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's the exact center right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place a regular frame right there. Not a tube frame. This is just a regular frame. Actually, this one is a tube frame. On top of that is a regular frame. Sorry, derp. And then on top of this one in the center, you're placing your ender chest, like so. Okay? So you can see that the tubes are connecting to it. You can see sort of right there in the middle. The tube comes up the center of each of these things. Whenever you connect a tube frame, they sort of connect between each other. You can see that there's a tube in the center of this frame, right? And so when you place them together, they connect. The tubes from inside the frames will connect to each other. It looks pretty clean. It looks pretty solid. And that's basically the premise of this, so that they can break things, receive a signal from these frames, and send to the chest all at once. So let's finish getting this put up here. And I'm going to apologize right now, guys. This is going to take a lot of building, because this is a lot of placing blocks. And any of you that think that this is boring, because I'm just placing a bunch of blocks, well, that's how it goes. That's Minecraft, right? You place blocks all day long, and then once it's all done, you have a few minutes of glee where you get to squee. As a matter of fact, if you guys want, I will totally squee at the end of this video once we finish this. Just for your benefits, you know exactly what you'll be doing once you finish this. You know, unless you're a big, deep biker dude, and you don't ever squee for any reason. Or maybe you will squee. Maybe this will be the first time. Maybe for the first time you will squee because I'm making this so awesome for you. Maybe you picked up Minecraft because, you know, somebody at the bar mentioned it randomly. It's like, yeah, my kid's playing it, and you decided to check it out, see what all the hype was about. And so you went home and you downloaded it, and you're like, okay, well, I guess this is kind of cool. And then you realized that you were playing vanilla, and then you were sour about that. So you went and got a hold of the program so that you could mod everything, and then you got the mods going, and you've been addicted ever since, and you understand why it's called Minecraft. And then you went back to the biker bar the next day, and they were like, yeah, Minecraft, haha, how lame, huh? And you're like, yeah, how lame. Yeah, it's definitely lame. And then you sweat dropped and hope nobody ever finds out, but then you go home and you play Minecraft for hours, and then you're the big biker dude, and for the first time ever you squee. I hope that's what happens. I hope that's the story of your life. If that is the story of your life, send me a comment, send me a message on below. Click like or follow or submit or subscribe, you know, if that's the story of your life. So, you get these all covered up. Chest in the middle. Everything's looking delicious. So this is the piston head for the block breaker frame Quarry. It's huge. That's what she said. These frames, I should probably show you how to make them, are pretty simple. It's just a brass bar with 8 sticks around it. The brass, of course, is just some combination of copper and tin in an alloy furnace. Get you 4 of them. Depending on what mods you have installed, you might also have access to zinc, which if you combine that with copper, you get the brass as well. The redstone tube frame is just a support frame with a redstone tube, which is just a regular tube with a redstone, pneumatic tube, which is just those 2 brass around that glass, just like any pipe would be. Or you can take, if you made a bunch of those tube frames I started with on accident and derped hard putting those down first, and you have a bunch of those laying around, you forgot, you can just add redstone to those. So you won't be too sour. You can sit there and you can do that, and it'll be good. And you'll feel a little bit better. So you put those down along the backs of these, and now we're done with the redstone tube frames. That's all that we're going to need those for, I believe. I could be wrong. I'll derp again later if that's what happens. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build up a couple here, come up a couple high with the regular frames. So from now on we should be just on regular frames. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to come up a few, and we are going to build a little platform. Like this. Not like that. And I'm actually going to start this out a little bit wide. What I like to do is I like to make this down here is 15 by 15. I like to make the upper platform 17 by 17, just so it kind of fits together, closes up like a clamshell is what happens. And we'll get there in a minute. And so now you need the frame motors, which is right here. Frame motor. Oh wow, we're already at 27 minutes in this video, guys. Yeah, this is definitely going to have to be a two-parter. So this frame motor right here is what happens is this is going to be the initial setup. So this is going to be for raising up the arm, the piston head. So you're going to want to put one right there like this, and then right on top of it. And then you're going to want to rotate this one so it points up with your screwdriver. Now the frame motors are pretty easy to make as well, just takes a little bit of doing. You're going to need 2 of those brass bars, 5 iron, a blue alloy ingot, which is just silver with 4 nickelite in that alloy furnace. And then you want a blue electric motor. The motor is made out of 6 iron, another blue alloy ingot, and 2 of these coils. One of these coils is 4 of these fine copper wires, 4 iron bars, and 1 iron. The coils themselves is just 1 copper against a diamond drop plate, which is a tool. It has durability. And it's made by cutting up iron panel strips and a diamond panel. The strips, of course, are cut out of the panels. And the panels are just made out of a block with a handsaw, which is another tool. So you can make a block and you cut it up. See? So you slice those up to get those strips and everything for that drop plate to make those coils. These bars are just 6 iron. Get you 16 of these bars. So you're going to need 2, 4, 6, you need 8 motors. Okay? So you put these dead on top like that, and then what we need to do is we need covers. So let's find our red power tab really quick here. Well, I'll find my red power tab. If you're building this legit, you won't have a red power tab. Let's go with... black wool looks good. Let's go with black wool. And these are covers. These are made out of just using that same handsaw and slicing up panels, which are made out of slicing up the slabs, which are made out of just slicing up the black wool. And you're gonna need the slabs too, actually, come to think of it. So let me grab a couple more of those really quick. And you need to craft 2 of those together, or just slice them up normally. So let me just do this really quick. Whoop. There we go. So, the difference between the slab and the cover is when you place these in here, it merges with the frame. So it covers up the frame like that. See, it merges with the inside of the block. You can see the edges sticking into it a little bit here. And then you put these like this. And the reason why you do that is because the frame, as I said before, will move any other frame that's connected to it. But if it's got a cover on it, it can't move that frame. They won't connect. So when this arm moves up to right here like this, that will not connect. So this arm can now move up and down independently of this platform, is the idea right there, okay? And it will move up with that motor and down with this motor, okay? So we're going to move that as well. And then what we're going to do is First of all, let's widen out this platform really quick here. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, is that right? 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? Yeah, that looks right. Excellent. And then you come down. Yeah, that's perfect. Let me just make sure really quick, though. Yeah, okay, good. So you want to come down probably about 4 is what I always recommend. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right there. And this is going to be our gigantic platform. So this is also going to be another long time of watching me place blocks. And that was the first joke I thought of in my head before. Wonder if I can come up with another nice long joke to take up some time. Nah, I think I'm out of jokes. So instead, let me talk about this a little bit more, this build. How about that? A little bit sour. I'm a little off my game today, guys. I've spent the last couple days being pretty sick, and things just haven't been working out for me, so I'm, you know, a little bit off. Also, not feeling so hot still. But hey, a little bit off my normal my normal dickery game here, but we'll do what we can. And this is just me placing blocks for no reason. You guys are all probably really bored by now. But as I said early on in the first episode that I watched, if you haven't checked out that episode, go back and definitely take a look at it. Definitely worth the watch, as I've mentioned a couple times in previous episodes. I don't like to edit. And it's not just about not liking to edit because of not liking to edit. It's just about the fact that I like to see everything. I like to show everything. There's 2 types of people on YouTube, or 2 types of viewers that I have come to find. There's the viewer that likes you to skip ahead. He's like, all right, just show me what I want to do, just show me what I want to see, and he wants you to skip and just show the juicy parts, which is kind of like watching porn, and you want to just get to it, and you want to skip all the, early on foreplay, and you're like, let's just get all the way to the end and let's see the actual action. And then there's the people that like to watch the entire video, and they do exist. Believe it or not, I'm not lying, I'm not making this up. Some people like to watch the entire porn video from start to finish. And they do actually make videos that cater to those people. So my video here is for a start to finish video. I don't like to skip things, I like to show everything. I like everything to be seen so you can see every last juicy bit, every last juicy detail. I did warn you a few minutes ago that this is going to be a lot of me placing blocks, guys. I am one of those people that likes to see everything all the time. I don't like to miss anything. So, also, when I screw up, it's hilarious. You get to see a few derps now and then, and it's always a really good time when I derp. Like when the client crashes or, something crazy happens. It's always funny. You know why it's funny? Because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be professional. Yes. Supposed to be 100% professional and not ever mess up and be smooth and suave and yes, this is how to do it, yes. And this is how it goes every time. It's always wonderful and I'm perfect and brilliant and amazing and you should always listen to me, yes. No. BS. BS. I don't like those people at all. I don't like those people that things always work out for. And I will quote one of my favorite comedians. I'm not sure I can actually mention names or name names or anything. But he basically says, I don't like the kind of guy that everything goes right for him all the time. I don't like the guy who's like, yeah, you know what, I came in and won a scratch off today, and then I was driving over to the bar and hit green lights all the way through, and later on I'm probably going to be promoted at work and become a corporate executive, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I hope you die of a weird cancer. I do. He's basically what he says. He's like, I like the kind of guy who's like, that everything looks like it's going okay for the most part, but things kind of screw up and derp. And I'm not quoting him exactly because I'm not sure what the rules are on that, but that's my kind of guy. I like to see things. I like things that are funny. And derping is definitely hilarious. It's always funny when something happens to somebody. Like, seriously, think about it. Also, again, something that the same comedian I just mentioned says. He's like, think about it. You're walking outside, and right in front, it's icy outside. It's winter. Somebody slips and busts their ass. What's your first reaction? Oh man, that guy fell over. We should instantly stop and help him. Or is it, look at that jerk. He totally slipped and busted his ass. Yeah, your reaction is probably the second one. If you're anything like me, your reaction is the second one. And so, yeah, definitely want to do that. So here's what we got. This is our completed size. It's not going to get any bigger than this in terms of size. We do still have a lot more work to do on the thing, but this is basically what we're going for. This is why I like this. This is so big. It's so huge. Also, this machine is gigantic, and I'm not going to stop making that joke. This is a hilarious joke. I'm going to run it into the ground. No, I'll stop. I swear. We can't run it into the ground because I got to use it 100 times in other videos. And this is what I like. This is just a gigantic inside frame machine. This is as close to the Death Star as you're going to get in Minecraft. It's just going to destroy these worlds. So our piston's starting to take shape. So you got the upper part of the piston body, and here's the piston center arm, and it pushes out to the piston head. This just goes straight down into the ground all the way to bedrock. So yeah, what we got to do now is we got to cover this though. Remember how I said that anything that attaches to these frames will be moved when the frame moves? So you got to put these covers down so that the frame actually doesn't snag it. Because if it goes down, when this whole piston head shifts downwards, it's going to connect to this block, and then it will be connected to that dirt block. And if it connects to the dirt block and picks it up and takes it with it, then this entire frame will get stuck and won't be able to move. One wrong block, one wrong move, and this entire setup goes to hell. And it won't work. It'll stop. It'll get stuck. You won't know what's going on. You'll be flying around for 20 minutes around your frame machine going, why is it stuck? I don't understand why it's stuck. I can't figure out what's going on here. And you'll be frustrated, and you'll be sour, and you'll be pulling your hair out. And then you finally realize the one block, one thing, one place somewhere is blocking the entire structure. And you'll just be mad. You're like, oh, son of a... And you'll move that block and everything will be beautiful again. So you just want to make sure to do all this as carefully as possible. So you put these covers down so that they can't actually connect to any of these blocks. And you want to do that along the outside of this thing as well. Which consequently is going to make it look cool as hell. I mean, once you get all these covers on here, it's just going to be a giant black and gold grid. Look at that. That looks so nice. Whoop, got two on there. So on the sides and on the edges, definitely you want to put covers on everything, which is a little bit nice because if you saw in the recipes when I was showing you how to make these covers with that handsaw and you're cutting these up out of full blocks, you get 8 covers out of one block. So at least it stretches kind of far. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of blocks the way that you end up needing hundreds of frames, but you don't need hundreds of covers. Well, you need hundreds of covers, but you don't need hundreds of blocks to turn into covers. In fact, a nice sheep farm, and you got your covers. Like an automated sheep farm, you can use, if you got MISC peripherals installed, you can make a turtle that automatically shears sheep. You can just trap the sheep in one block and you just automatically shear them. There's a mechanical way to do it. Again, with red power, you can use a deployer with shears in it, and just have a timer on it. And the timer set to something ridiculously high, like 30 seconds. 45 seconds, maybe even a minute, because the sheep only eats the grass so often and brings his wool back, so you wouldn't need that set up very high, and you can just automatically, and then you could have a transposer beneath that sheep, or to the side of the sheep. It can't be beneath it because he has to eat the grass, obviously, to get his wool back, so you put a transposer next to him, and every time the wool hits the ground, it'll pick it up after the shears hit. So you can do that. You can have an automatic mechanical sheep farm. You could just be not lazy about it and just go shear your sheep every time it happens. That's a possibility as well. Although, I'm all for putting in work so that I can be lazy later. As you probably have all seen by now, I absolutely love to do giant, huge, complicated builds and then look at them. You just step back and go, ha ha, look at that. And I am totally rambling, because as I said, I'm filling into the weather, and this is just long, boring clicking and such like that. You know what I'll do, guys? You know what I think I'll do? I'll put a link in the description. For those of you that want to skip ahead, I'll put a little annotation in the video saying, you know, if you want to see finished projects, skip ahead to X time period or whatever. That's assuming I don't split this video. We're already at the 40-minute mark. Well, we might finish this up in time. Or you could just, you know, zoom the bar. I guess you do that too. I'm still pretty noob at YouTube videos, guys. I'm not sure how to do all the fancy stuff quite yet. So it is entirely possible that I just won't get to it because I'm not sure how. I'll try. I'm teaching myself as I go. But we're almost done. We got one more side to do, and then we got to do the inside. And the top. The top, though, the top of the piston head and the top of the platform itself, though, we're going to do with the panels. So these covers won't connect to blocks, but you want to be able to place some blocks. So the inside you do with panels, and the top you do with panels. Mostly. And you'll see why in a minute. Oh man. Derp. Woo! Whole other side. You know what, guys? This is... As I was mentioning, I really don't like to cut video, but I think I'm going to for once. I think there's a certain point, even when you like to see every gruesome detail, I think there comes a certain point when you just have to cut for a few minutes at least. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I do want, and only because I want to get this all in one video take, so I want to make sure to get this in one video. So let me pause this really quick. I'm going to finish covering this thing up, and I'll be back to show you guys what I did, okay? Thanks. Alright guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm glad that you all waited. Actually, you didn't wait. It was just a split second of camera shifting on your part. So you actually had no idea that anything happened, really, except for the fact that I said it was going to happen, which it did, as you can see. And this was a very, very good... Oh, fail. How did I do that? Anyway, this was a very good life choice on my part to finish it up, most of this off camera. Apparently, somehow I missed a lot of it, but the reason why is it took me almost another half an hour. Just clicking one thing at a time took a long time. So that was a good call. That was a great life choice on my part right there. So yeah, as you can see, we finished covering everything up inside. This is all panels. This is all the cover panels. Black wool panel on the inside. Top, bottom, floor, ceiling. This is all panels. On the outside, it's all covers. So we got covers and panels. Covers and panels. Covers and panels. Covers, covers, panels, panels, covers, and panels. Anyway, and you can tell the difference by what you place down, because you can see, like right here, you see how it's got the 3 little pixels right here on the corners of each of the frames that have a panel on it, but on the cover it's all smooth in the corners. Yeah, smooth means the entire thing is covered, so it's a cover. And the little corners being animated like that mean that it's just a panel. Panel means that it can hold on to things. Covers mean it doesn't. So when this drives down on the earth, it's going to be sliding against this side. It won't grab anything, but the panels up here can hold on to, like, you know, anything you place inside. So that's the real key on this. And so what I did was I charged up a battery box for usage up here, so I could show you guys this is how the frame works. So this is just the arm. We placed this in the beginning a few moments ago. And so this is the motor that moves it up. You can see the arrow points up. This is the one that moves the arm down. And this only controls the piston head. And I put a couple buttons on here with this battery box because you have to power it with red power so you can just see it. So watch down here. Watch through the holes in the platform. You'll be able to see the arm move up and down. So you hit the button, up it goes. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I'm a terrible singer, I know. But if we come down here, look. It's lifted up all the way into the thing. This thing has closed completely. Just one flying doom ship. Once we're done, it won't be able to close completely like that. So don't get your hopes up that much. It'll stick out a little bit. That's what she said. But yeah, it won't quite look like this. So what we'll do is I'll come up here and I'll move this back down. Down. So what this will be about how whenever I finish it up, this is how it looks inside. One of my personal models. You get about 3 high inside. You could live in here, really. I mean, this could make a nice little cozy apartment if you didn't mind wires sticking out all over the place. We'll have wires in a few minutes here. And then outside, the block breakers themselves will stick out a little bit, probably like that. It might not even close all the way up to 4. You might even end up getting... Come on, button. You might even end up getting it to look more like this. This is fine, too. Really, as long as you can see that it's just a giant floating ship. Giant floating piston ship. Looks awesome. So, let's get down to the nitty-gritty now. So what you do is... Let's put this all the way down for the moment, just so we can maneuver in here. So, whoa. Mouse sensitivity way up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these buttons here, first off. Because we don't want to control it with buttons. And we're going to get rid of the battery box. And what we're going to do is, you have to place power in the platform, and I like to power it with solar power from the red power solar panels in the battery boxes. So the battery box is made out of 1 plank, 3 iron, 1 of those blue alloy ingots we talked about earlier, and 4 of these BT batteries, which is made out of 6 nickelite, a tin in the middle, and 2 copper. Okay? And then the solar panels are made out of 8 blue doped wafers and 1 of those blue alloy ingots. The blue doped wafer comes from cooking nickelite with a silicon wafer in the alloy furnace. Silicon wafer is just a silicon boule sliced with the handsaw. And the boule is, in the alloy furnace, 8 coal and 8 sand. Or 8 charcoal and 8 sand. Okay? So it's not really that hard, just a few extra clicks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get over here. I like to put it on the edges. So I like to come over here and I like to, drill through the frame over here. And I tend to put a good number of them because I don't like the thing to run out of power ever. But really it's up to you exactly how much power you want to, how much juice you want to give the thing. So generally, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that should be fine. So we'll put 5 battery boxes in over here. And as I said, these are pre-charged because I pre-charged them already. But you'll have to obviously charge them as you go. And then I like to put the solar panels right along the edge, right next to it. And then what you can do is put 1 extra on the end here like this. The way that I tend to roll with this is I put 1 extra, and then I come over here and I put 1 extra. And if you want wires that match the frame, what you do is you grab your crafting table, okay, and then that's the panel, okay. And then what you do is you grab your blue alloy ingot like so. And then you can grab 8 of your panels, okay? And then all you do is you come on here and you surround the blue alloy ingot with the black panels, or whatever kind. You don't have to use black wool, I just am because I like black. You could use any color of any cobble, like you could cover those cobblestone panels if you wanted to. Look hideous in my opinion, but you could do it. But look, now this matches. See? So if you want this to match, just use whatever material for your wire as you do for the covering of the thing. And then of course you'll probably also need a few of the actual wires. So you get your bundle, or not your bundle, excuse me, your blue alloy wire. And that's just made with 3 of those blue alloy ingots and whatever type of wool. Doesn't matter what color wool. So what I like to do is I'll come in here and I will take my panel, and you cover these up inside here, okay? And all of these frames on the side and on the edges that we just drilled out are holding the battery boxes in place, but the panels are being held in place by the ones they're sitting on. So this wire will also be held in place by what it's sitting on. So you can come in here like this, and you can connect like that if you want to, or you can use the jacketed cable like so. Either way, however you want to do it's fine, just as long as you get that power in there some fashion, somehow. And then what I like to do is I like to double up on both sides just because of the fact that I don't ever like to run out of power, and I like to be able to connect things. Sometimes when you're deep in the underbowels of the beast, and you're trying to get everything working the way that you're trying to get everything working, sometimes having an extra plug-in spot is handy. So what you do is you come down here and you put more battery boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drill down that extra one. I'm not picking these up, I'm not bothering because I'm in creative mode. So, but obviously you'd be picking those up as you were building. So let's double up on these battery boxes just for the just for the hell of it. And then we will grab our solar panels, and we'll do the same thing on this side that we did over there. And you have to make sure that everything's touching one of these frames, because if it's not, if it's just floating free on its own, it won't be able to connect and be moved by the frame. The whole frame will get stuck. And the reason why that's the reason why you can't place these solar panels directly on top of the battery box like you could normally do in normal building. And I know you don't have to use so much wire. I just use it for extra connection points. So before everybody rages, I know you don't have to. I know that it might be a little inefficient, but whatever, who cares? So underneath, now we have access to power. See? And then generally what I like to do is I'll pick one of these sides, like over here, probably is a good one. See how it connects up right away. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to bring this along. Don't touch this frame, otherwise it won't move. Just come along over here, and I like to drill this out. We have to keep one of these in here so that it touches this bottom frame. So we'll put up another panel on here, put some panels in here, like so. And then I like to bring this up like this and connect that way. Now we have power connecting to these center motors so that we can move the arm up and down. Okay? And then of course you need another one over here to connect to this motor, right? So this motor can be moved. So now the whole platform is still mobile. And I'm actually going to cover those up at the end probably, I think. Alright, so I think in the interest of the video again, I'm going to cut here in a minute. I'm only cutting because this video is taking so long. I want to get this all in one video. So next what we have to do is we have to put these same motors, the ones that move up and down the piston head, we have to put those same motors on the walls in here so that the whole frame can move. So when you close this up, you dig out your quarry hole like way deep into the ground over here, and then you can move the whole platform over to drill another hole. So I'm going to cut the video one more time, and I'm going to actually before I cut the video, you saw how the motors work. The motors move that arm up and down, but instead of moving the arm, we're going to position them in such a way that they can move the whole platform. Okay, so we're going to put them against these walls like that, like so, and then if you hold shift and click, it flips it around, so now the arrow is actually touching the other side of this wall. And if you drill it out, you can see it. So let's drill it out just really quick for demonstration. See, look at this. Now you can see the arrow through the wall, right? Because you put the motor in against it. So because it's against the wall, it can move the entire frame from where it was. So that's how you move the entire platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get those set up really quick. I'll come back before I finish the very last one so you can see how to connect them, and I'll show you how the wiring works. So one more quick cut, and I'll be back in a moment. Get those set up really quick. I'll come back before I finish the very last one so you can see how to connect them, and I'll show you how the wiring works. So one more quick cut, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for this first part of this video. Did end up having to split this into a couple of parts, probably, because, well, giant long videos are a pain to swallow all at once, and, of course, that's what she said. So, give us a few moments here, switch over to the next part 2, or part 3, or whatever the next part's going to be, and continue on from there. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.